The town of Willow Creek was the kind of place where the mailman still waved at every door and people left their bikes on the lawn without fear. For 30 years, Emily Carter had lived in the pale blue house on the corner, the one with the wind chimes singing softly, even in winter. Everyone knew her as the woman who baked cookies for the neighborhood kids and sent handwritten birthday cards to strangers she barely knew. But what the town didn't know was that Emily's house had grown too quiet. Her only son, Michael, had been deployed overseas 2 years earlier. He used to call every Sunday without fail. Emily would sit by the window before the sun came up, clutching her phone like a lifeline. His voice had become the thread she used to stitch herself through the days, until the calls stopped. The military said communication might be delayed. Missions, weather, technical issues. Weeks passed, months. Emily began to live in a slow-motion world, walking through routines with the heaviness of a soaked coat. She prayed, she baked, she stared at the wind chimes for hours. One autumn morning, as golden leaves scraped along the pavement, a government car pulled up in front of her house. Emily didn't need anyone to tell her what that meant. Her knees buckled before the officers reached the porch. The blue wind chimes went silent for the first time in years, as though even the breeze understood. Michael was gone. The funeral gathered the entire town. Flags waved, veterans saluted, and people who had never met him whispered thank yous. Emily stood with her hands clasped, staring at a folded flag that now held the weight of her world. After that day, Emily rarely left the house. The wind chimes sang, but she no longer listened. Letters from neighbors piled up unread. The oven stayed cold. Then came the envelope. It was blue, just like her house, just like the flag at the funeral. It arrived on a rainy Tuesday, forwarded from a military base overseas. Emily held it for a long time before opening it, tracing her son's handwriting with trembling fingers. Inside was a single letter and a small photo. "Mom," it began, "if you're reading this, it means things didn't go the way I hoped. But I need you to know something. You were the safest place I ever had. Every Sunday call, every cookie, every hug, even the ones I didn't deserve, made me brave." Tears blurred the ink, but she kept reading. "If I don't make it home, promise me you won't live in silence. Talk to the neighbors, bake again. Use that blue paint you love on the porch. Live, Mom, live for both of us." The photo was of Michael smiling with a group of kids in a dusty village overseas. Emily pressed it to her chest and collapsed into a storm of grief that rattled the whole house. But the next morning, she made a choice. She opened the curtains. She wiped the dust off her oven. She stepped outside and painted her porch a new shade of blue, brighter, bolder, like hope stubbornly pushing through clouds. Within weeks, the smell of fresh cookies drifted through Willow Creek again. Children gathered at her porch, listening to her stories about Michael. Veterans came to share memories and find comfort. People who had never spoken to her before asked if they could help with the garden. Emily still cried at night. The ache never left. But she learned that grief didn't have to be silent. 1 year after the blue envelope arrived, the town dedicated a small park bench to Michael Carter. Emily sat on it every Sunday, feeling the breeze against her face as the wind chimes at home softly sang. And for the first time in a long time, she whispered, "I'm living, Michael. I promise."